Okay, good afternoon team. It is currently Saturday and we're starting a new reading vlog here. I should have started this last night because I actually started the first book last night. However, we are where we are with it. It's 1 PM on Saturday. And this reading vlog, I don't know how long it's going to take me. Hopefully it won't take me too long. I'm hoping just for a couple of days. But this reading vlog is basically reading ARCS that come out today for you. So they don't come out today for me, but on Thursday the 21st of January when I upload this video, they will come out today. So this is a do I recommend these books type video. And I have 3 books that I'm going to be reading. Love is for Losers by Wibke Brueggemann, I think that's how you pronounce that. This is an ARC copy and this was sent to me by the publishers, Macmillan, and also I am reviewing this on Instagram. I'm doing a bookstagram tour for this via Pride Book Tour, so thank you to them for setting me up with this one. And actually, whilst I'm holding this up, I have received a parcel this morning, which I think is from Macmillan, yes it is, with a finished copy of the book and also some treats. So let's open that while we're here and I can tell you about the book as well. This is a funny and life-affirming take on all the big stuff you experience through puberty. Love, sex, death, family, intergenerational friendships, heartbreak, kittens and kisses that turn the whole world upside down. Cleverly written in diary entries, Phoebe is a relatable Bridget Jones for the generation of teens. As far as Phoebe Davis is concerned, love is to be avoided at all costs. Why would you spend your life worrying about something that turns you into a complete moron? If her best friend Polly is anything to go by, the first sniff of a relationship makes you forget about your friends. Like, hello, get completely obsessed with sex, yawn, and bang on constantly about a person who definitely isn't as great as you think they are and who can't even ride a bike. So Phoebe decides she isn't going to fall in love ever. But then she volunteers to work at her godmother's charity shop where she meets Emma. A laugh out loud love look at first love, loss, and trying to avoid the girl of your dreams because love is for losers. So it is very young. I will say that I have already started this and I'm up to page 84 so far. The diary entry format, I love the way that that is laid out. It makes the book very, very fast paced and very quick to get through, and I'm really enjoying that aspect. But it is very, very young because Phoebe, I think, is about 15 years old, almost 16. So it is reading quite young. I'm just not sure how that's going to go for me because I am struggling a little bit with that at the moment. I am rolling my eyes a lot. I do forget that she is quite young, but then in some aspects she seems quite older as well. So I don't know. We'll see how this goes, but I'm enjoying it so far. But the finished edition looks like this, which is really pretty. It also looks a lot thinner as well, which is wild. So yeah, that would be because the diary entries are all put onto the same pages at that point, but in this one they're not, they're all separated. So fair enough, that makes sense. And then I have this as well, which is, oh, it's a giant lolly. It's got a cat on it. Oh my god. It's got a cat on it. That's because her godmother Kate has 2 cats. So Phoebe calls them designer cats basically because they're quite expensive cats. So yeah, so that's one of the books that I'm reading.
1 hour later.
Okay, it's me, I'm back. I'm here to give you a quick update on Love is for Losers. So I have made the decision to DNF this book. I'm on a live at the moment with, well, I'm not on a live, I'm on a chat room at the moment with Molly and Jade, and I've been discussing it with them, and they said that if I'm just not enjoying it, to DNF it. Now, this is not that the book isn't good. This is a case of, I read this earlier to you, and it basically is Bridget Jones for teenagers, and that's exactly what this is. Now, bear in mind, the protagonist in this book is half of my age. She's 15 and I'm 31. She's half my age, and although, yes, the things that she's bringing up are things that, in general, I probably went through at her age as well. I don't really remember, but I probably went through at her age as well, and other teenagers are going through at her age as well. I do think that this is a book written for people of that age, so around the 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, maybe even 18 mark as well. There is the heavy topic of abandonment a little bit in here, so just be careful with that. Her mum is a doctor and she wants to go away to areas in the world that are struggling massively with things. So for example, her mum wants to go to Syria to help out there, and she disappears for like 6 months, and that's what happens at the beginning of the book, but this happens regularly with her. So she spends almost no time with her mum, and there is like this feeling of abandonment from her mum. her dad has died and she ends up living for the most part living with her godmother Kate, who seems pretty cool, to be fair. But the idea is that Phoebe ends up working in the charity shop that Kate works at and falling in love with the girl there called Emma, who we have come across briefly. But yeah, I just think that this is a little bit too young for me, and that's literally the only reason why I've decided to DNF this. I am rolling my eyes a lot at it, and I think that that would reflect in my rating, and I don't think it's fair for me to sort of carry on with this and give it a rating and on that basis, because it would reflect badly on the book when that is not the case. I do think that this is probably a very well written book. I enjoy the way that it's laid out, the fact that it is in diary format. I really like that. It makes it fast paced and it makes it easy to get through. But I also think that this is written for a certain age group that I am no longer a part of, and that is why I am struggling with it. So on that basis, I have decided to DNF it. So I am now going to be picking up Rescue Me by Sarah Manning. I did start this at the beginning of the month and I managed to get to page 15, so I am going to carry on with this. But again, this is following two people who are single and end up co-parenting a dog, and I think a romance is going to come out of it. So I'm looking forward to picking this one up. So the girls are fannying about on the... the girls are fannying about on the live. So I'm going to go and give this a read and I will check back in with you, and I've got something to update you on.
The next day.
Hi team, it's currently 5:25 on Sunday evening and I wanted to update you on how this reading vlog is going. So I read Rescue Me by Sarah Manning yesterday. I finished it this morning and I have given this 4 stars. I put it through Corpile, I've given it 4 stars. I really enjoyed this. This book goes a lot deeper than just two people co-parenting a dog. So basically we start off following Will and Margot. Margot's 36 years old and she is very much of the opinion that she wants to fall in love, get married and have children, but now she's at the point where she feels like she's given up on love and she feels like it's just going to be settling for her so that she can have marriage and children, because that's what she wants. It's all she's ever wanted. Will is on the other side of that, where he feels like he doesn't deserve to be loved and he feels like he cannot give love, for totally different reasons on both ends of the spectrum, which I don't want to spoil because you go through the story finding that out about these two characters. Margot one day ends up going to a rescue centre in which she finds a dog that she wants to rescue, Blossom, who's about 13 years old. No, she's not. She's about 3 years old. She is a staffy, and basically Margot decides that she wants to adopt her. Unfortunately, she's going away for a week with work and she cannot take Margot immediately, and the rescue centre say, unfortunately, we can't put a hold on her. If somebody else comes along and wants to take her, we'll have to let her go because she will not survive the week in the rescue centre, because she's very, very timid. Obviously she's not had a very good start to her life. Will turns up. Basically his therapist has recommended that he try and make an emotional connection to something, whether that be an animal or a person. So Will makes the decision on one of his rounds with delivering some flowers from the florist, his family run florist that he works for, that he's going to stop at the rescue centre, take a picture with a dog and send it to his therapist and say, I made an emotional connection, basically. However, when he gets there, he sees Margot getting upset about the fact that she can't take Blossom home immediately and she can't put a hold on her. Will then offers to take Blossom for the week while Margot's working, and this is what happens. This is how the story begins. So it's not a case of these two people just accidentally coming together and co-parenting. Obviously, once Margot's had the week away and she comes back, at that point then Will says that he doesn't want to hand Blossom over, and they end up in this co-parenting situation. What happens is we then get to know, we do follow for about 150 pages, we follow more so Blossom's way of living and how she grows as a dog, rather than getting to know Will and Margot, which is a little bit frustrating, but it's okay. I was getting to a point where I was wondering whether I was going to actually enjoy this and whether it was just going to be bored all the way through. But it turned around from about the 150 page mark. Don't get me wrong, I loved hearing about Blossom and how she was learning to love and be loved. So that was really nice, and it was nice to see a rescue dog kind of grow. But it was nice to get to know Will and Margot as well, because they're kind of like the whole point of the story as well as Blossom. So we got to know them too as well. What I will say is there are some dark aspects to this book, both Margot and Will have pasts that have molded them and shaped them into the people that they are. And both of them are trying not to let this control them, but unfortunately it is. Both ends of the scale, they are so on like either end of the scale that it's so hard for them to try and meet in the middle. And the whole book, that's what they spend the time doing. There are some very dark things in here, like I mentioned. Both of these characters have gone to therapy, and both of them are addressing issues that have gone on in their lives. Some trigger warnings for loss of parents, abandonment, feelings of abandonment, also emotional abuse, verbal abuse, and animal abuse. It's not, well, yeah, you don't find out the actual abuse that Blossom has gone through, but there is later on in the book a very, very brief scene of animal abuse. So just be aware of that going into it. It is extremely brief, but it is there, so just be careful of that going into it. And then also alcohol abuse as well, so just be aware of that. Emotional abuse and physical abuse of a minor as well, again very, very briefly around the same area as the animal abuse, so just be aware of that going in. But yeah, otherwise I gave it 4 stars. I cried at the end of this book. It was so beautifully written. I will look into Sarah Manning's other books as well and what else she has done. I did really enjoy it overall, and I thought that there were a lot of messages in here. Like, I did start to tab up some of the things. I thought a lot of messages in here were really, really good. Our female protagonist Margot is actually a plus size character, and I really loved her representation in here. She's very body positive, and I just really loved that. It was so good to see, and I thought the representation, as a plus size girl myself, thought the representation was done really, really well. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed this. 4 out of 5 stars, really enjoyed it. Highly recommend picking this one up. So that's 2 books that I am recommending, one of which I have DNF'd on the basis that it's too young for me. But I do think that it will be very, very good for the correct age range. And then this one, which is very, very good, and I do highly recommend. So I'm now going to go on to the Sad Ghost Club, I think it's called. Let me just double check the title of the book. The Sad Ghost Club by Lizzie Meddings, and this basically is a graphic novel. So I do feel like this is a cop-out a little bit because I've DNF'd 1 book and one of them is a graphic novel, but it's a long graphic novel. And basically this is, ever felt anxious or alone, like you don't belong anywhere, like you're almost invisible? Find your kindred spirits at the Sad Ghost Club. You are not alone. Shh, pass it on. This is a story of one of those days, a day so bad you can barely get out of bed, when it's a struggle to leave the house, and when you do, you wish you hadn't. But even the worst of the days can surprise you. When one sad ghost alone at a crowded party spies another sad ghost across the room, they decide to leave the party together. What happens next changes everything, because that night they start the Sad Ghost Club, a secret society for anxious and alone, and a club for people who think they don't belong. And this is actually targeted for 12 to 18 year olds, but I do think that I am going to relate to this a lot as a person who lives with anxiety and struggles with depression on a daily basis. So I am looking forward to picking this one up. I have already started it, so I am excited about it. So I'm going to read this one. I will come back to you, let you know my thoughts, and then that will be the end of this vlog, and I hope that it will have been informative for you. So I will see you when I finish this one.
3 hours later.
Can you move it along? I'm all out of time cards.
Okay, it's a little bit later on. I just finished the Sad Ghost Club. That was really, really cute. Basically, Liz Medding, who has written the Sad Ghost Club, actually runs an entire Instagram page for the Sad Ghost Club for people who are struggling mentally with anxiety and depression, and probably a number of other mental health issues as well, to be able to go and find other people to chat with and just make friends, essentially. And the book is following 2 characters, SG and Socks, and we follow our main character is SG, and basically they start their day off with not feeling great when they wake up. They haven't had much sleep. They've been doing a piece of coursework for school, and they wake up feeling a bit crap because they've had like 5 hours sleep, and then think that they want to spend the rest of the day in bed. The cat keeps them awake, so they get invited to a party and they commit and say that they're going to go, and then regret immediately committing. So eventually they go to the party and then wonder why they bothered, until they see another person that looks like them, another ghost who nobody's speaking to them, they're not speaking to anyone else, they're just in the corner of the room. And SG goes over and approaches them, tries to make conversation with them, but they're on the phone saying that they're texting their friends, they've just disappeared. SG wanders off to get a drink, and then this other person ends up falling, accidentally bumping into someone and falling, and they end up running out of the party really embarrassed. SG follows them out and ends up striking up conversation, and they apologise for how they acted. They just didn't really want to chat to anyone, and it turns out this is Socks, and we just kind of see a friendship blossom between them throughout the night. And some of the things I don't fully agree with Socks, and some of the things I don't know, it's just a mix of things going on. The illustration style is beautiful. It's basically setting up, I think, for a bit of a graphic novel series, because it is down as volume 1, so I would love to see more of this series. And I think that this would be a really important series for maybe like the generation below me. It's an important series in general, but for the age range 12 to 18 will be a really good series, on the basis that it really brings light to the fact that it's okay not to be okay, and there are other people out there that are like you, and it's okay to open up and speak to people as well. And at the end of the graphic novel there is also a number of websites and numbers for places where you can go and get help, like the Samaritans and an anxiety website and things like that. So there's lots of informative numbers where people can go and get help if necessary. But I just thought it was a really good graphic novel. I just think that it's really apt for everything that's going on at the moment in the world. I think a lot of kids that are struggling at the moment would really appreciate this graphic novel, and I just thought it was really good. I gave it 4 stars overall. It was really good. There were a couple of things I didn't fully agree with what Socks was saying, and although SG sort of counteracted that, I still think that, I don't know, there are just a couple of things that maybe I didn't agree with. But overall, I loved the illustration style. I loved the story that came out of it. It was just really good, a really beautiful graphic novel as well. And I hope to see more in this series. I really do hope that's the case. So that's the end of this video. I hope that it's been generally informative and it's been okay, that it's just been like 3 books, one of which I DNF'd, one of which was a graphic novel. But I like that there has been a mix of things. So the DNF'd book was Love is for Losers, that I am not DNFing on the basis that I didn't like the book. It's just a little bit too juvenile for me, but I really like the message it's trying to send, and I think it would be really good for the age range that it's aimed for. So I will still be pushing that agenda and advertising that book on my Instagram. I will still be doing not a review, but an excerpt or the synopsis of it on the 6th of February. I will be leaving my thoughts with that as well, though, a general review, but obviously no star rating because I DNF'd. Then we had Rescue Me by Sarah Manning, and I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 4 stars. It was so good. Really enjoyed it. Nice, cute little contemporary with a dark side as well, and I highly recommend this one. And then we've got The Sad Ghost Club, which again I highly recommend, 4 stars. Do check it out if you're interested in it. All of these books come out today, the 21st of January, so do go and check them out. And I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye for now.